Hello, JennyEason here, and today I want to talk about the actor and humanitarian documentary filmmaker Sean Penn. I did not know that Sean Penn was involved in so many things, so I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at Sean Penn. Who is he, actually? Could we get to the bottom of it a little? I want to read an article about him working on a documentary in the Ukraine. I happened to hear about this through Days of Noah, and I was surprised because this story broke yesterday. So that would be February 24th that it broke. Same day that we hear that Russia has invaded the Ukraine. So this article from the Wall Street Journal, Sean Penn is working on a documentary in Ukraine amid invasion. Sean Penn visited Kiev to work on a documentary and meet with Ukrainian officials as Russian forces invaded Ukraine. The Ukrainian president's office said. The director went to Kiev to record current events in Ukraine and to tell the world the truth about Russia's invasion of our country. A translated Facebook post from the president's office said Thursday. The post included a photo of Mr. Penn at a news conference. Our country is grateful to him for such a show of courage and honesty, the Ukrainian president's office said on Facebook. A spokesman at Vice Media Group confirmed that Mr. Penn is working on a film for Vice Studios, but didn't comment on Mr. Penn's reason for being in Ukraine. The Ukrainian president's office said Mr. Penn also visited Ukraine in November for documentary work, touring the Azov region and speaking with the Ukrainian military. So that was the article that the Wall Street Journal mentioned this particular thing. And I want to mention another article I came across. It was, 2020 that this article was written about Twitter's CEO Jack Dorsey donating $10 million for CV-19 testing to Sean Penn's disaster relief group, CORE. So he has a disaster relief group, okay? So again, did not know all of this was going on. So let me kick his wiki. Let's see what the narrative is. Some of us remember Sean Penn from, his early days as an actor. So I wanted to see what are they saying about his origins. Okay, so his name is Sean Justin Penn, who was born August 17th, 1960. An American actor, director, screenwriter, and producer. He won 2 Academy Awards for roles in the mystery drama Mystic River. I don't remember that. I hadn't seen a lot of his movies, but you may recall Mystic River. That was done in 2003, and it's neo-noir. There's that word, noir. Psychological mystery crime drama, okay? So he also did a biopic, Milk, in 2008. This is an American biographical film based on the life of gay rights activist and politician Harvey Milk. All right, so Penn began his acting career in television with a brief appearance on Little House on the Prairie back in 1974. It was directed by his father, Leo Penn, which I didn't know his father was an actor and director, okay? So Interesting, right? So he had a debut drama, Taps, in 81. And it says a diverse range of film roles in the 1980s, including Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982. You may remember that. And I'm sure it inspired some of that, like Wayne's World type of stuff. He was like a stoner, you know, rolling out of vans with a lot of smoke and everything. So he also was in Bad Boys in 1983. And this was a coming-of-age crime drama film. It was set in a juvenile detention center. Okay, so you can just see the type of films that he was in. He garnered critical attention for roles in crime dramas at Close Range, State of Grace, Carlito's Way in 1993. And he became known as a prominent leading actor with the drama Dead Man Walking. So Dead Man Walking, I don't recall watching this one. You may. Dead Man Walking, 1995, an American crime drama. Why are we so obsessed with crime, America? Why? Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's a crime drama. Oh boy. Yes. All right. So Dead Man Walking, that's another one. And he earned acclaim, Best Actors Award, Berlin Film Festival. So he also received another Oscar nomination for Woody Allen's comedy drama, Sweet and Low Down, in 1999. Then he was in the drama I Am Sam. He won his first Academy Award for Best Actor in the Mystic River, they say, and won in 2008 for Milk. So he did win awards there. He won Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival for She's So Lovely, and then Venice Film Festival for an indie film, Hurly Burly, and the drama 21 Grams. All right, so he made his feature film directorial debut with The Indian Runner. So that was a 1991 crime drama. Okay, so there you are, another crime drama. Followed by the drama film The Crossing Guard and the mystery film The Pledge. Interesting. The Pledge is about, let's see, it was 2001 American neo-noir. There's the noir again, mystery thriller film that he directed, had Jack Nicholson in it. So I have not seen a lot of his work, it turns out. So that was The Pledge, and all three were critically well received. And Penn directed one of 11 segments of a film about September 11th. It was a compilation film made in response to September 11th attacks. So his fourth feature film, a biographical drama survival movie called Into the Wild in 2007, that garnered critical acclaim and 2 Academy Award nominations. In addition to his work, Penn has engaged, now this is the key that I think we should really look into this Mr. Sean Penn. Okay, so Penn has engaged in political and social activism, including his criticism of the George W. Bush administration. Can't see much wrong with that, but this is all like, of course, they work on the same team. His contact with the presidents of Cuba and Venezuela. Yes, he has lots of interesting connections. And his humanitarian work in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and the 2010 Haiti earthquake. So he's done a lot with Haiti and helping with relief efforts. And it's just very, very interesting. I don't have another word. So his early life, you know how Wikipedia breaks down his early life. He was born in Santa Monica. Not bad, Santa Monica is a beautiful area of the Los Angeles area, as you know. To actor and director Leo Penn, Like I said, Dad was an American actor and director, and mother, Eileen Ryan. His mother is an American actress as well. So his mother is an actress, his father is an actor and director. His older brother is a musician, Michael Penn. All right, so then we have his younger brother, actor Chris Penn, so another actor, died in 2006. Not sure what he died from, just says he died. Okay, so let's see. His father was Jewish, the son of immigrants from the Russian Empire. That's how it's said here in Wikipedia, the Russian Empire. Mother is Catholic of Irish and Italian descent, although Penn was raised in a secular home in Malibu, California. So yes, grew up in Malibu and attended Malibu Park Junior High School and Santa Monica High School, because Malibu didn't have a high school at the time. So he began making short films with some of his childhood friends. Now let's hear what they say about his childhood friends. His childhood friends include actors Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, who lived near him. All right, wow. Okay, so in his acting, Penn appeared in a 1974, like I said, episode of Little House on the Prairie. Father directed it. Launched his career in 81. They're just going through. He was in Taps. He played a military high school cadet. Later, a hit comedy. So Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982 was a big hit. And he played the role of a surfer stoner, Jeff Spicoli. All right, so let's see. His character helped popularize the word dude in popular culture. So that's interesting to note that they are crediting Sean Penn with the word dude and the use of it in popular culture. All right, so then next, Penn appeared as Mick O'Brien as a troubled youth in the drama Bad Boys in 83. And Penn played Andrew Dalton Lee in the film The Falcon and the Snowman in 1985. I really love the soundtrack to The Falcon and the Snowman. You probably remember, with David Bowie and Pat Metheny. So I really love that soundtrack. And I have seen The Falcon and the Snowman. That was a really interesting movie. So check out The Falcon and the Snowman. What the premise was. Okay, so this is 1985. It closely followed an actual criminal case. Okay, Lee was a former drug dealer convicted of espionage for the Soviet Union and originally sentenced to life in prison, but was paroled in 1998. Penn later hired Lee as his personal assistant, partly because he wanted to reward Lee for allowing him to play Lee in the film. Penn was also a firm believer in rehabilitation and thought Lee should be successfully reintegrated into society since he was a free man again. Interesting. So it just goes on to go through all of his other things that he was in. Oh, interesting. Let's look at that. So, okay, it mentions again Woody Allen, Sweet and Low Down, I Am Sam, and the Boston crime drama Mystic River, and also he was in a Mystic River. It says it was based on Samuel Bick, and a 1974 attempted assassination of President Richard Nixon. In the assassination of Richard Nixon, 2004. And in the same year, he was invited to join the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Science. Interesting. Okay, so next, he played Governor Willie Stark, based on Huey Long of All the King's Men, and he was named, that was named in Forbes as a big flop, okay? So we'll move on. Okay, so then gay rights icon Harvey Milk in 2008, he won awards there. He was also in Fair Game, where he played Joseph C. Wilson, who was outed as a CIA agent by Bush advisor Scooter Libby in retaliation for an article Wilson wrote debunking Bush's claim that Iraq was building a nuclear bomb as a rationale for invading the country. The film was based on Plame's 2007 memoir, Fair Game, My Life as a Spy, My Betrayal by the White House. Very busy, very busy. So, let's see. He's in a whole lot of other things. In drama, The Tree of Life in 2011. He won also awards at Cannes Film. He played in The Gunman, a French-American action thriller based on a novel, The Prone Gunman. And let's see. Penn also played a sniper on a mercenary assassination team who kills the Minister of Mines of the Congo. Penn portrayed Jack Holden, an actor based on William Holden, in a comedy drama, Licorice Pizza. And he has also written a book. So in 2018, Atria Books published Penn's novel, Bob Honey, Who Just Do Stuff. Okay. That's weird title. And he went on a highly publicized book tour, it says. And he claimed that he no longer had a generic interest in making films, and being a writer will dominate my creative energies for the foreseeable future. So he said that in 2018. Okay, so his personal life, you probably recall. He was engaged to Elizabeth McGovern. He co-starred in Racing with the Moon. He had a brief relationship with Susan Sarandon. And you probably remember that he married Madonna. So he was in her Material Girl video. And then they were married and in their 20s, okay? And they did a movie that was terrible called Shanghai Surprise in 1986. And Madonna dedicated her third album, True Blue, to Penn, referring to him in the liner notes as the coolest guy in the universe. Their marriage was marred by Penn's violent outbursts against the press. So Madonna filed for divorce in 1987, withdrew the papers 2 weeks later, it says, but then filed again for divorce in 1989, reportedly withdrew an assault complaint against Penn that he had beaten her at their Malibu home during the New Year's Eve weekend. Penn was alleged to have struck Madonna on multiple occasions during their marriage. However, Madonna stated the allegations were completely outrageous, malicious, reckless, and false. Then Penn started dating actress Robin Wright, and then he developed a relationship with Jewel, and let's see. He married right, and they divorced. He began dating South African actress Charlize Theron. And just in case you didn't know, Charlize Theron is an African American. Yes, I said it. Okay? She's from South Africa and she lives here in America, so she's African American. Yes. And I want to talk about this relationship a little bit. Yeah, they're an interesting couple, or they were an interesting couple. They ended their relationship, it says, in 2015, and they were never engaged, Theron reports. But anyway, the problem I have with Charlize Theron, I'll just show you in pictures, okay? I don't know what in the world is going on with the adoption of these black children and what they are doing. What is going on? I just need to know. I don't understand it. You look at Madonna, and then she's got black children. They go get the children. Well, she went to Africa somewhere. It's all very strange. I know people think it's so beautiful. I've always had my tinfoil hat just starts to, I start to get a message when I see these kind of images. Something is not right here, okay? So I'm going to just say it. I don't like it, okay? It's me personally. I don't care. You could call me whatever. I don't like this. All right, so moving on. It's a lot of relationships with these people, but he had a lot of legal issues where he assaulted journalists and, just a lot of assaults, with photographers. He was charged with misdemeanor battery, assaulting songwriter David Walensky at Helen's nightclub in LA. And Walensky said Penn accused him of trying to kiss Madonna. And he violated probation, was arrested for punching a film extra, Jeffrey Klein, on the set of the movie Colors. He was sentenced to 60 days in jail for the assault and reckless driving, in which he served 33 days. And he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge stemming from an altercation with another photographer. And he was sentenced to perform 300 hours of community service and undergo 36 hours of anger management counseling. So his political views and activism, let's see what they're saying about that. Penn has been outspoken and supporting numerous political and social causes. He visited Iraq. Now, this is the interesting thing. Let's look at all the passport stamps that Sean Penn would have. So he's in Iraq in 2002. All the shenanigans. I don't know why he would be there, but he was protesting the Bush administration's apparent plans for a military strike on Iraq. Now, okay, so it says he went on December 13th through the 16th, 2002 to Iraq. Okay, so then in 2005, Penn made a visit to Iran. Okay, so now we're getting a passport stamp in Iran, acting as a journalist on an assignment for the San Francisco Chronicle. All right, so then he attended Friday prayer at Tehran University while he was there. Penn was a special guest at the Progressive Democrats of America, where he was joined by author Norman Solomon and activist Cindy Sheehan. Now, Cindy Sheehan's name rings a bell. Okay, Cindy Sheehan is an American anti-war activist, okay, whose son, U.S. Army Specialist Casey Sheehan, was killed by enemy action during the Iraq War. And she attracted national and international media attention for her extended anti-war protest at a makeshift camp outside. Let's see, where does it say it was outside of the A makeshift camp outside President George W. Bush's Texas ranch. A stand that drew both passionate support and criticism. She ran for Congress unsuccessfully in 2008. She was a vocal critic of President Barack Obama's foreign policy. All right, so that was Mrs. Sheehan. Okay, so it goes on to say that he was at the Out of Iraq Forum, which took place in Sacramento, California. It was organized to promote the anti-war movement, calling for an end to the war in Iraq. Then in 2006, Penn received the Christopher Reeve First Amendment Award for the Creative Coalition for his commitment to free speech. Oh, well, Sean Penn, did you know that your friend over at Twitter, and it looks like the other friends that took over from your other friend at Twitter, Jack, he's not into free speech. So with you receiving this First Amendment Award, I'm wondering, do you have conversations when you go to your fancy, dinners and things, when you hang out with these people? Do you tell Jack Dorsey and that crew that we're having some First Amendment issues in this nation? Sean Penn, do you talk to them about the free speech that is being prevented by certain people that don't agree with Hollywood elites on the left? Oh, I thought maybe you should know that, or if anybody knows Sean Penn, can you just let him know what's going on with free speech, because he has awards for defending it. Okay, moving on. I digress again. Okay, so Penn made an appearance in 2008 at one of Ralph Nader. That's a name you don't hear a lot of. Does anybody know about Ralph Nader? Let's go in a little. Let's just go back. Okay, so Ralph Nader is an American political activist. He's an author, lecturer. He's really funny. Let me just see. I'm going to hit his wiki here. Okay, so listen. So Ralph Nader, environmentalist, okay, consumer protection. I really thought this guy was for the consumer back in the day. So I didn't know he was Lebanese. He attended Princeton and Harvard. Oh boy. Now this is what's interesting about him. He came into prominence in 1965 with the publication of the best-selling book Unsafe at Any Speed, okay, where he was very critical of the American automobile manufacturers. So this led to a lot of investigations and things like that. So so two of Nader's most notable targets. Okay, check this out. Let's just look at these cars. The Chevy Corvair and the Ford Pinto. Yes, don't laugh. The Chevy Corvair was one of the cars in which he said was unsafe at any speed. What a title. Okay, so he was quite a character. So he headed up the Green Party, and he ran for 4 times to become the president of the United States. Don't know what Ralph is up to now, but let me move on through this Sean Penn thing. So it took a little detour there. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so he was there with Cindy Sheehan. He was at this, Ralph Nader opened the debate super rallies. He made an appearance. He protested the political exclusion of Nader and other third parties. Okay, so in 2008, Penn traveled to Cuba, where he met and interviewed with President Raúl Castro. And then in 2012, he stood beside Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. Interesting, yes. Hugo Chavez. We know what happened to Venezuela. What a mess. I have yet to really go down into that rabbit hole, but that will be, I'm sure, coming up soon, because it's interesting to look at some of the things that happened in the Americas. All right, so Venezuela supported the Syrian government during the 2011 and 2012 Syrian uprising. Okay, so then in 2020, Penn tweeted in support of Armenia in regards to a war going on there. And he also criticized Turkey's involvement in the conflict and close ties with U.S., Turkey's close ties. So he was critical of the involvement. And he endorsed Joe Biden. So he likes Brandon. Sean Penn. Okay, so you endorsed Brandon for the 2020 U.S. presidential election. He stated Armenians are being slaughtered by Trump, pal Erdogan, with weapons and, that we provided. All right. This is not America. Biden for America's new birth. Okay, so you were saying that back in 2020, Sean Penn. What are you saying today? I would like to know. So you're really busy all over the world running amok. And who are you doing this really for? I just have a lot of questions. So Penn, they really updated this Wikipedia, everybody. Look at that. Who does all these updates? Can someone drop it in the comments? Who's updating Wikipedia so quickly? Because this thing came out yesterday, but Wikipedia is on the scene, okay? So Penn is currently in Ukraine, and let me tell you, I had to edit myself. I was putting the in front of Ukraine. Why? I don't know why I was doing it. I'm sorry to all Ukrainians if it's offensive. No, I know. Listen, I'm just saying I'm going to stop doing it because I saw somebody mention it and I just didn't know why I was putting the. So if you're doing the in front of Ukraine, just consider not doing that. Okay. All right. So then it says he's here. Well, he's there in Ukraine filming a documentary. So this guy and his documentaries. All right. So he's there about the ongoing 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. I was about to say the Ukraine. I'm going to stop myself at all times when I try to put a the. Help me to stop doing that. Okay, so how long does it take? This is what I asked in a post. How long does it take to pull together a documentary like crew? Is this something you could just do really quick? I just don't think so because, you got all the traveling and papers and dust papers and all this stuff. I don't know. What is up? So anyway, he's there. Penn attended press briefings. Look at him. Who does he think he is up in this press briefing? Can somebody tell me what is going on? Who put him up to this? So he is attending press briefings in Kiev. He met with officials, he spoke to journalists and military personnel about the Russian invasion. Okay, so military is talking to Sean Penn. Make it make sense, as they say. Okay, so his criticism of George W. Bush, you said that already, Wikipedia. All right, so he wrote an open letter to George W. Bush. And he placed $56,000 advertisement in the Washington Post for George W. Bush to end a cycle of violence, okay? And referred to the planned attack on Iraq and the war on terror. He also criticized the Bush administration for its destruction of civil liberties and its simplistic and inflammatory view of good and evil. Penn visited Iraq briefly in 2002. Sean is one of the few, remarked his ex-wife Madonna. Good for him. Most celebrities are keeping their heads down. Nobody wants to be unpopular. Okay. But then Americans, by and large, are pretty ignorant of what's going on in the world. This is Madonna saying this. Okay, Madonna. All right, so then the Post advertisement was cited as a primary reason for the development of his relationship with Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. In one of his televised speeches, Chavez used and read aloud an open letter Penn wrote to Bush. The letter condemned the Iraq War, called for Bush to be impeached, and also called Bush, Vice President Dick Cheney, and Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice villainously and criminally obscene people. This is what he called them. All right, so then, wow, in 2007, Penn appeared on the Colbert Report and had a meta free-for-all versus Stephen Colbert that was judged by, I don't know what are they talking about? It stemmed from Penn's criticism of Bush. His exact quote was, "We cower as you point your fingers telling us to support our troops. You and the smarmy pundits in your pocket, those who bathe in the moisture of your soiled and blood-soaked underwear? Whoa. And take that noise and shove it." That was a quote. Okay, so he's quite the wordsmith there. He won the contest with 10 million points to Colbert. So it was some kind of weird thing they did. Okay, so he supported Ohio Congressman Dennis Kucinich for U.S. president in 2008, again criticizing Bush's handling of the Iraq War. Penn questioned whether Bush's daughters, Jenna and Barbara, supported the war in Iraq. Okay, so Hurricane Katrina. In September 2005, Penn, he travels to New Orleans, Louisiana, to aid Hurricane Katrina victims. He was physically involved in rescuing people, although there was criticism that his involvement was a PR stunt. You really think we can't see that? As he hired a photographer to come along with his entourage. "I'm about to save people, pulling them out of the water with my photographers and entourage." Okay, Sean Penn. Okay, Penn denied such accusations in an article he wrote for the Huffington Post. Director Spike Lee interviewed Penn for Lee's documentary about Hurricane Katrina. I can't really say this without laughing. Okay, so Spike Lee, really? You interview Sean Penn for your documentary. So you did a documentary about Hurricane Katrina called When the Levees Broke, a Requiem in 4 Acts in 2006. By the way, Spike Lee also did something about 9/11. Remember? What is going on? Because I am really not buying a lot of this. This stuff is really odd. These people, I am looking at them with every kind of side eye, wow. Okay, so support for same-sex marriage is also attributed to some of his activism. He was in he won Best Actor Academy Award for the film Milk. His acceptance speech, he said, "I think that it's a good time for those who voted for the ban against gay marriage to sit and reflect and anticipate their great shame and the shame in their grandchildren's eyes if they continue that way of support. We've got to have equal rights for everyone." Okay, so relief efforts following the 2010 Haiti earthquake. Okay, are you keeping up with all this stuff this guy is involved with? Okay, so after 2010 Haiti earthquake, Penn founded the JP Haitian Relief Organization, which operated a 55,000 person tent camp. Before starting the organization, Penn had never visited Haiti and did not speak French or Creole. When asked for his comment on critics who questioned his experience, he said he hopes they die screaming of rectal cancer. Oh, this guy really does have some anger issues. Okay, so it says, due to his visibility as an on-the-ground advocate for rescue and aid efforts in the aftermath. Yeah, Sean Penn, they really need you over in Haiti? Okay, so Penn was designated by President Michel Martelly as ambassador at large for Haiti. Well, I don't know who you are, Michel, but shame on you. Okay, so it says Michel Joseph Martelly is a Haitian musician and politician who was the president of Haiti from May 2011 until 2016. He is one of Haiti's best known musicians for over a decade, going by the stage name Sweet Mickey. Okay, Sweet Mickey, I see you, Sweet Mickey. You are going to make Sean Penn ambassador at large for Haiti? Really? You did that? I tell you, you guys get mad about all this stuff, people coming into nations, all this kind of stuff. But look at the Haitian leadership. I'm going to look into you, Haiti. You got some splaining to do yourself. Your leaders have really betrayed the people, some of them, and it's something funny going on. I'm going to look into it because I have a friend from the past whose father was a politician in Haiti who was actually assassinated back in the whole Papa Doc or Baby Doc. I don't get any of it. I'm going to commit myself to learning about Haiti and their history and really try to get into some understanding here. But Michelle, I'm looking at you kind of strange here. So it says the first time that a non-Haitian citizen has been designated as such in the country's history. So you thought that much of Sean Penn, Michel Martelly, okay? So, I don't know, I'm just getting a little angry just reading stuff like this. Okay, so Penn received the designation on January 31st, 2012. In 2012, at the 12th World Summit of Nobel Peace Laureates, Penn received the Peace Summit Award. Pakistan, okay? Penn gained significant attention in the Pakistan media when he visited Karachi and Badin in 2012. Okay, he visited flood-stricken villages and he was accompanied by U.S. Consul General William J. Martin. He distributed blankets, quilts, kitchen items, and other goods amongst flood survivors. Penn also visited a female child home and met Pakistan's iconic humanitarian worker Abdul Sattar Adhi and his wife. He also laid floral wreaths and paid respect at the shrine of Abdullah Shah Ghazi. All right, so we're moving on to another subject here in his Wikipedia narrative. So it says release of Jacob Ostricher from Bolivian prison. Okay, Sean Penn is believed to have played a role in getting American entrepreneur Jacob Ostricher, an American businessman and investor who oversaw rice agricultural venture and invested in this venture, who was jailed for 18 months for suspicion of laundering money. So he was released from a Bolivian prison in 2013 and was credited by Ostricher for having personally nursed him back to health upon his release. Was credited by Ostricher. So he personally nursed this man back to health? This guy does everything. Okay, so CORE. Okay, CORE is the nonprofit organization which stands for Community Organized Relief Effort. Sean Penn founded this nonprofit, which distributed aid to Haiti following the 2010 earthquake and Hurricane Matthew as well. So Hurricane Matthew was the Category 5 Atlantic hurricane that caused catastrophic damage and a humanitarian crisis in Haiti. Okay, so Hurricane Matthew, that was the name of it. I forgot they called it Matthew. Okay, as well as this CORE administered free CV-19 tests in the U.S. amid the pandemic. Okay, October 2021, the National Labor Relations Board issued a complaint that Penn and CORE violated federal labor law. According to the charge, Penn implied he threatened his employees with reprisals after they complained about working conditions, including 18-hour days and the food provided. Other controversies. Defense of Hugo Chavez. Okay, Penn called for the arrest of those referring to Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez as a dictator. So he wanted people arrested for saying that he's a dictator. But I thought that Sean Penn was into free speech. So I'm confused. Okay, so the two were friends, and when Chavez died in 2013, Penn said Venezuela and its revolution will endure under the proven leadership of Vice President Nicolas Maduro. Today, the United States lost a friend it never knew it had, and poor people around the world lost a champion. I lost a friend I was blessed to have. Boy. So his controversies go on and on and on. Okay, so he was also involved in the Falkland Islands controversy. Okay, Penn met with President of Argentina, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner. So he made a statement on the long-running dispute between Argentina and the United Kingdom over the Falkland Islands, saying, I know I came in a very sensitive moment in terms of diplomacy between Argentina and the UK over the Falkland Islands, and I hope that diplomats can establish true dialogue in order to solve the conflict, as the world today cannot tolerate ridiculous demonstrations of colonialism. The way of dialogue is the only way to achieve a better solution for both nations. So the comments were taken as support of Argentina's claim to the islands and evoked strong reactions in the British media. So one satirical article in the Daily Telegraph requesting that Penn return his Malibu estate to the Mexicans. Whoa, that was shady. Okay, so he was criticized where they said Penn doesn't know what he's talking about, and frankly, he should shut up. I agree with that somehow. So his views are irrelevant, they said, and it serves to fuel the fire of the Argentinians and get them more pumped up. And his statements were also dismissed as moronic. Let's see, he was also called, someone wrote, as of today, Sean Penn is the new Karl Lagerfeld, the man upon whom, having disrespected something dear to the United Kingdom, the British papers most gleefully pile contempt. Oh, wow. All right, so yeah, he gets involved in a lot of things. So his Oscar green card joke was another. So at the 87th Academy Awards in 2015, Penn, before presenting an award for Birdman, he joked, Who gave this son of a bee his green card? Ooh, it was a Mexican actor. He said that. Okay, some people deem the remark racist towards Latin Americans and offensive to those who attempted to legally immigrate into the United States. Oh boy. So it said it was some kind of inside joke he had. He said he didn't have any apologies for it, and he said he had a big FU for everybody, anybody who was so stupid not to have gotten the irony, okay? When you've got a country that is so xenophobic. Oh boy. Okay, Lee Daniels lawsuit. All right, so Lee Daniels responded to criticism about Terrence Howard's continued career in light of his domestic violence issues by referencing Penn's rumored history of domestic violence. Okay, and he said, Terrence ain't done nothing different than Marlon Brando or Sean Penn, and all of a sudden he's some effing demon. In response, Penn launched a $10 million defamation suit against Daniels, alleging that he had never been arrested or charged with domestic violence. So just because you get arrested or charged, that means that makes domestic violence true? Okay, Sean Penn. Yeah, we really believe that. Penn dropped the lawsuit after Daniels retracted his statement and apologized. Okay. His El Chapo interview. A day after Mexican officials announced the capture of fugitive El Chapo, who goes by Sinaloa, he was the fugitive Sinaloa cartel boss, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, in a bloody raid. Rolling Stone revealed on 2016 that Sean Penn, along with actress Kate Castillo, had conducted a secret interview with El Chapo prior to his arrest. How does Sean Penn get these interviews? A secret interview. Okay. All right. Okay, so Del Castillo was contacted by Guzman's lawyer. Guzman is El Chapo here. Okay, are you following? Okay, so El Chapo's lawyer talked about producing a biographical film about El Chapo, and communication increased following El Chapo's escape from prison in 2015. The deal for the interview was brokered by Del Castillo. According to published text messages with Del Castillo, El Chapo did not know who Sean Penn was. Oh my. Okay, Sean Penn, El Chapo didn't even know who you were. How does that make a Hollywood person feel? Okay, so let's see. These photographs were released at meetings, and El Chapo's lawyers, all this stuff, the arrival of the actress and Penn to Mexico. The interview was criticized by some, including the White House, which called the interview maddening. That's a word you don't hear enough. It was maddening. Okay, Mexican authorities said they were seeking to question Penn over the interview, which had not been approved by either the American or Mexican government. Penn and Del Castillo's meeting with El Chapo is under investigation by the Attorney General of Mexico. Oh boy. So that's Sean Penn, according to the narrative, okay? If you have any updates, any intel, if you have anything, hot tea, just share it below, because we all learn from each other. Drop it on down there, and thanks for watching. We'll be doing more of these things, but I want to do a live stream in a bit. I'll let you know. Stay tuned. I will let you know about our next night class, okay? I want it to be really good, of course, okay? So I'll be looking into some things, but again, I want to thank you. This Sean Penn, what are we going to do about Sean Penn? So now he's running amok. He's all over in the freaking Ukraine. Yes, Sean Penn doing a documentary in the Ukraine. about the Russian invasion. Russia, Russia, Russia. These people are obsessed. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.